7, a deadly shooting investigation is underway in Aiken County. The victim is just 10 years old, what we know so far. Also ahead, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that Medicaid cannot be used for Planned Parenthood, what this means for low-income South Carolinians. And it's mosquito and tick season, what one doctor recommends for protection. And your news at 7 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 7.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dee Griffin. Thanks so much for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins with a 10-year-old girl dead after a late-night shooting in Aiken County. Isabella Moody has the story.
Brandy Turner has been living in the neighborhood since 2001 and says nothing like this has ever happened.
It's shocking because it could have been anybody. I mean, all of us out here got kids, so it could have been any one of us. It could have been my kids. Like, we all were in the bed. So, bullet ain't got nobody's name on it.
Turner's daughter goes to school with Lavinia Lowe. She says her kids woke her up when they saw the ambulances and police cars.
Ain't no telling who it was, who they were looking for, if they coming back.
Even though Turner was already planning to move from the neighborhood, this has only motivated her.
Well, it really don't matter. Anywhere you go ain't safe, but for this neighborhood to be as small as it is.
A statement from Sheriff Martin Sawyer with the Aiken County Sheriff's Office said, "Any murder is unacceptable, but the murder of an innocent child is the most depraved act possible. And these families and this community should not have to endure acts like this." The Aiken County Sheriff's Office has all its resources focused on this murder and the murder that occurred over the weekend. I have requested help from other local agencies, state agencies, and federal agencies to assist us with these two cases.
The investigation is ongoing. We will have updates on WJBF.com. Time now for our first check of our weather. And Chief Meteorologist Jenna Petracci joins us now. It was a beautiful day and a little bit cooler, like a couple of degrees. I can feel it.
Yeah, we'll take even a degree cooler day.
I will take half a degree.
Yeah, anything but what we had yesterday. I mean, we got up to 99 in Augusta yesterday, and that was luckily not the case today. But right now on Live Viper 6, it's completely dry in the CSRA, but we do have some storms over towards Atlanta. These were severe thunderstorms earlier. They have now weakened, and we're left with this really cool view. It looks like an explosion, actually kind of a scary view, but this is just a towering cumulonimbus cloud with the thunderstorms out in the distance. So really cool to see there with the sunshine now moving in. Our almanac for Augusta Bush Field shows that we had a high of 94 today, a low of 69. That puts us on track with average for a typical June day. And right now we're in the upper 80s through low 90s. 94 in Evans, 90 in Barnwell, 92 in Louisville, and Augusta's at 91, only 89 in Wrightsville. Our heat index is still into the 90s, but feeling like 102 in McCormick and Edgefield. Definitely a little bit of higher humidity north of I-20. And for the rest of our evening, we'll dip down into the 80s shortly and then upper 70s by 11 p.m. There's the slight possibility of an isolated storm, but at this point, it's looking like we'll stay pretty much dry. A few storms in the forecast as we head into the weekend with temperatures staying about the same. I'll have a look at the next 10 days coming up. Back to you, Dee.
All right, thanks so much. We'll see you in a few minutes. Many of you in this area, and even as far as Columbia, have reported seeing a fireball streak across the sky today. News Channel 6 has received numerous calls and messages regarding the sighting, and this video was captured on a Tesla dash cam by Brian Jenkins Updike. The National Weather Service says it was most likely a meteorite. It's pretty cool to see, and thank you, sir, for sending us that video. Well, if you're going on a hike, the lake, or summer camp this summer, there's a high chance you'll have an encounter with mosquitoes or ticks. The spring and early summer months are the time of year where there's an increase in these types of bugs, but a combination of Hurricane Helene, recent rainfall, and humidity have led to an uptick in mosquitoes and ticks. Protection for both insects is similar, but doctors say it's harder to find ticks than mosquitoes because they're smaller in size.
Even though it's hot, wearing long sleeve clothing and boots, closed-toed shoes, socks is the best way to prevent ticks from being able to find an attachment point on your body. If you are out hiking or in wooded areas, take a shower afterwards. So if there is anything on you, you wash it off pretty quickly before it's had a chance to attach.
Doctors also recommend using DEET bug spray to protect yourself as well. Now, if you put on sunscreen to protect your skin, they say you should put the sunscreen on before the bug spray. Augusta Commissioner Jordan Johnson is trying to clean up historic Harrisburg near downtown. Tonight, he's holding a public meeting for people who live there. He wants to create strategic plans to help people live, work, and feel safe in Harrisburg. Commissioner Johnson says the first place to start is by fixing the property issue.
It's just the need for infrastructure renewal, the need for housing, the fact that there's very little affordable housing in the neighborhood is very concerning to me. And I think before we even move further into redevelopment or bringing new people in, we have to, work on the issues that we have now. The fact that 80% of the neighborhood is somewhat living in poverty tells me that we have more work to do in the neighborhood.
We'll have an update on tonight's meeting right here at 10 and 11. The U.S. Supreme Court has sided with South Carolina in a long-running battle over Medicaid funding for Planned Parenthood. Caroline Yapa tells us what this means for low-income patients across the state.
The U.S. Supreme Court just ruled that people who are on Medicaid in South Carolina will no longer be able to use their coverage at Planned Parenthood, even if it means they're not getting an abortion.
What it does mean is that our patients will no longer be able to come to us for their annual well woman exams, the pap smear, the breast exams.
This goes back to a 2018 order from Governor Henry McMaster, who directed state agencies to remove clinics from the state's Medicaid provider list.
It's not about health care, but it's about abandoning South Carolinians. This will be an equity disaster.
Planned Parenthood sued the state, saying that under federal law, Medicaid recipients have a right to choose any qualified provider. But the High Court disagreed, saying that federal law doesn't give patients the right to sue over provider access. Governor Henry McMaster sent us this statement that reads in part, 7 years ago, we took a stand to protect the sanctity of life and defend South Carolina's authority and values. And today, we are finally victorious.
To get a decision like this, I believe it's well within the constitutional vein to rule this way. I thought the 6 justices articulated their point well. We're feeling good. It's a good victory. Again, ultimately, these are all incremental victories that get accomplished.
Planned Parenthood says as of now, there is no date set in stone as to when this is going into effect. In Columbia, I'm Caroline Yaffa.
The city of North Augusta has put a temporary stop to animal shelters volunteers taking any of the animals from the shelter. North Augusta leaders expressed concern that allowing volunteers to take impounded animals could create issues for the city if something like an animal attack were to happen. Volunteers say that a new shelter and system are desperately needed in North Augusta, and if something isn't done soon, it could create more problems for the city.
They can see an influx of a pet population, injured pets on the street, which isn't really, something that I don't think that they care about. But more of those pets, if they're unaltered, they're going to populate, and there's going to be an overpopulation that already is, and it's going to be so much worse.
Right now, city leaders are declining to speak about the matter publicly, claiming they want to hear from the city attorney and discuss the situation before commenting. 4 new foster homes are opening in the Augusta area. Workers in the Evolve program say more foster homes are needed because there are not enough people who want to be foster parents. They say some of the children need specialized care. They also say they need to limit the number of children in the home. So the Evolve program works with these types of needs. They alternate the kids between sets of foster parents who take turns coming to the home every week, so the children can't stay in one place.
We just created the Evolve program to have a foster home, have foster parents, have behavior aides, have a therapist, and have a case manager that actually comes to their home to see them instead of going to an office.
Evolve also announced that they will be building 3 more homes soon. It's a big day tomorrow for News Channel 6. We are excited to host a Touch a Truck event as part of our Your Hometown Tour stop in McDuffie County, which is part of this year's Freedom Blast. And you'll see all types of vehicles, including police cars, fire trucks, and tractors. They are across the street from the McDuffie County Courthouse on Railroad Street. And the goal is to give kids, and kids at heart, a chance to explore the trucks and meet first responders. Freedom Blast will also include a kids zone and a fireworks show. Join us for your hometown Freedom Blast this Friday. We will broadcast our 4, 5, and 6 p.m. newscast live from the event at the Thompson Depot. Come on out and join us. Coming up, U.S. lawmakers receive briefings on the attacks on Iran's nuclear sites. We'll have the details after the break.
Good evening, I'm Carol Black over the Cast Recast.
ABC News, Washington.
And we're back to typical summertime weather, meaning it's hot, it's humid, and we have those daily chances of showers and storms. I'll have a look at that full Vapor 6 forecast right after the break.
The summer break sales event is
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live 5 for 6.
Welcome back. Well, there's been a lot going on this week, from heat to severe storms to a meteor. That is possibly what we saw today, and we actually have the booted meteor shower that's going to peak tomorrow. It's been around since June 22nd, and it lasts through July 22nd, or July 2nd, that is. But the best time to view it would be before dawn tomorrow or after sunset tomorrow evening. Find a spot away from the city lights and look up and to the west-northwest. Now, you may see shooting stars. Now, the good news is that we won't see a lot of moonlight, only a 9% lit crescent moon, so that could help with your chances of seeing some of those shooting stars. Now, let's talk about the lightning that looked like shooting stars that we had last night. The skies were lit up, and we had very noisy thunder. You can see those storm reports across the CSRA showing various trees down in Aiken, Burke, and Screven counties, and we had some temporary power outages as well. But right now on our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam, it's beautiful and sunny here in town. We're at 91 degrees, feeling like 93. A southwest breeze is coming in at 9 miles per hour, and dew points are in the middle 60s. Around the CSRA, we're seeing anywhere from just 87 degrees in Wrightsville to around 93 in Evans. So typical June heat, and you can see across the nation there's a lot of 80s and 90s, but we're no longer seeing the triple digits like we had just yesterday, and it's definitely cooled off a bit in the northeast. Upper 60s in New York, they were in the triple digit range as just a few days ago. But for our satellite and radar, you can still see we have the heat dome, and we also have an upper level low, and that's what's bringing these showers and storms to parts of the southeast. We've been watching storms across Atlanta, but here in the CSRA, we've stayed completely dry today, and tomorrow will be mostly dry as well. It's your hometown Freedom Blast. I'll be out there along with Brad Means, Jenny Montgomery, Gianna, and Brandon will be there, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be hot, starting at 91 at the 4 o'clock hour, but once the event officially kicks off with the food, music, and fireworks, we'll start to cool down a bit. Now, there is the chance of some showers and storms later on in the evening. Hopefully that won't impact the fireworks show, but you can see tomorrow at 7 p.m. a dry start to the evening, but then some showers and storms will move in from the north. So we'll be keeping a close eye and tracking that for you tomorrow. There's a low chance that some of them could be strong to severe, but overall, just that typical summertime weather as we head into our weekend. 93 on Saturday, 94 on Sunday, keeping that 30% chance of rain. We're still going to be feeling the heat, as humidity will make it feel like the lower 100s, but I'm not expecting that heat index to get any higher than 105. So we'll stay away from any heat advisories. Our low temperatures tonight will be around average at 70, highs tomorrow between 91 to 94 degrees. And that 10-day forecast is showing the slight rain chances into the weekend. Once we get into the middle of next week, we'll see higher rain chances as a cold front will bring some showers and storms, and it'll drop us down to 91 degrees on Thursday. 4th of July is next Friday, and it looks pretty good. Not a washout, just those typical pop-up storms possible.
Okay, well, I like the temperatures are low 90s.
Yeah, we'll take low 90s.
We'll take that. Thanks so much. Well, it's Lightning Safety Week, and fire crews across the state are sounding the alarm. This comes after 15 people were taken to the hospital Tuesday night following a lightning strike at Lake Murray in Lexington County. Experts say summer is the time to remain vigilant for pop-up thunderstorms.
We checked radar before we come out. Everything looked nice, and as we were out there, it just started getting really windy, and we decided to dock up somewhere and just check the radar and decided to come in.
So you need to go indoors. Going to a tree to get out of the rain during a thunderstorm or an electrical storm is the wrong answer. A tree will not keep you safe outdoors.
Fire officials suggest planning your shelter areas before getting to your destination in case of a pop-up storm. Well, still ahead, the baseball world coming together to support a star player being brought to tears after being taunted. We'll have the story after this break.
Years ago, I lost my father-in-law.
6. Our News Channel 6 mobile app is now even better. Download it today. The WJBF Live Viper 6 Skyview Network is sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai. Low prices, big selection, and committed to quality customer service.
We turn now to some foul behavior in Major League Baseball. A player brought to tears after being taunted about his deceased mother. Andrew Dimbert has the story.
This morning, the baseball world coming together to support a star player brought to tears after being taunted by a fan about his deceased mother.
Ketel Marte in tears, kneeling down behind second base.
Arizona Diamondbacks star Ketel Marte was at bat against the Chicago White Sox Tuesday night when he looked into the stands and started shaking his head. Moments later, he was in tears, his teammates and coach coming to comfort him.
Torey Lovullo with Ketel Marte in tears on the pitcher's mound.
Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo later saying a White Sox fan had taunted Marte about his mom, who was killed in a car crash in 2017.
Fans are nasty, and fans go too far sometimes. And I love my players, and I'm going to protect them.
Lovullo, who's known Marte for years, located the fan in the stands and called for security to eject him. The incident prompting new calls for the league to better police fan behavior. Baseball not the only sport dealing with unruly fans.
Don't choke on it!
A fan recently taunted and made racial comments toward Olympic gold medalist Gabby Thomas.
Gabby got a white guy!
And stars from several pro sports say the rise of sports betting has led to more fans threatening players and their families.
Ketel Marte.
Back in Chicago, as Ketel Marte took the plate yesterday for the first time since the incident, the White Sox apologizing, displaying on their scoreboard this message: baseball is family. Marte's coach upending that famous notion that there's no crying in baseball.
We're human beings, and we have emotions, and I love you, and I'm with you, and we're all together, and you're not alone.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
It only takes a moment. 6.
The original host of Blue's Clues is launching a new podcast for the adults who grew up watching the kids show. Steve Burns hosted from 1996 until 2003. He says this new podcast, called Alive, will be a weekly show that will discuss what it means to stay human in a complicated world. Steve and his guests will also talk about topics like mortality, masculinity, loneliness, and success. Alive is set to release sometime this fall.
Well, it's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, and a lot of people can relate to Steve.
Yeah.
Steve was always very calming. I mean, I didn't watch all the time, but when I did, see it or whatever, it's very calming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
Well, our 10-day forecast is showing some better weather than what we've had lately. We're back to low to mid 90s for highs, so lows around 70. And none of these days will be a complete washout, just those typical afternoon and evening shower and storm chances with partly cloudy skies. And that continues all the way through next week, which is the 4th of July on Friday. And then next Saturday and Sunday look even drier.
All right, there you have it. Thanks so much for joining us for this half hour. Our news continues at 10 on MeTV. Entertainment Tonight is next. Have a great evening.